अरे ये गुरुजी
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद प्रभु।
माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्ण।
हरे
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी,
दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी। I'm just opening the presentation.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
नव्या माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे
हरे
कृष्ण।
कृष्ण प्रभु जी, चंदन है दंडवत प्रणाम।
चंदन प्रभु दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
दीपिका माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम। Okay.
हरे कृष्ण।
प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे कृष्ण। गोविंद सेवा प्रभु। जो मैं बोलूंगा आप तो जो करेंगे वही करेंगे। All right. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौरंगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। All right. Um, um, we will discuss this and we will have one more session on these last 7 verses because there is a lot of discussion. I mean, um, we are on 12th chapter. Acronym for this chapter is God. Arjuna asked, should I worship you in this form as Krishna or should I worship you without a form? And then Krishna gave the answer. And last week we discussed different options. Krishna gave different options. The best is to absorb your mind in thinking of me. Second best is use your intelligence in serving me. This is if you cannot do mind and intelligence fixed on me all the time, try to follow regulatory principles, so that one may become purified and eventually may come to the state where one can fix the mind and intelligence on Krishna. Um, so someone may say, I cannot follow regulatory principles. Okay, then use your external senses to serve Krishna. um, washing pots and different services. Well, I cannot do that. Okay, then do your work, but don't be attached to the results of your work. If you do that, that will help you to come to the stage of working, doing something for Krishna. That will give you the qualifications to start rendering devotional service, and that will bring you to the point of spontaneously engaged in serving Krishna with one's internal senses. Somebody says, I can't even do that. Okay, then try some other things. Read some spiritual books, try some, get some knowledge, some jnana, um, 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 do some meditation, and those kind of things. So, Krishna, that shows Krishna is eager to include everyone, and Krishna is giving everyone space, that you come to me at your speed. If we are convinced that we are spirit souls, then we also know that this is not the only life we have. If we begin our Krishna consciousness at whatever speed we may go, that's all right. Next life we continue from there, and it continues. Okay, now this is the last section of today, but requires two discussions: devotee's disposition, or the qualities that pleases Krishna. We know some Siddhim Haritoshanam. The goal of spiritual life is Haritoshanam, to please Krishna. But how can we please Krishna? What is required to please Krishna? That Krishna describes in this section. Okay, so in this section, Krishna describes total 31 qualities that pleases Krishna. We will discuss few of them today and remaining next week. Okay, um, so Advaishta Sarva Bhutana, those who are not envious towards anyone, including the envious, those who are not envious, um, they become dear to Krishna. And we have already discussed this topic of envy before in the ninth chapter. Um, Envy arises because I want to be the enjoyer. When somebody else has something that I don't have, that I want to enjoy, then I will become envious of that person. So, really, the root cause of envy is that I am the center, I am the enjoyer, everything is meant for my pleasure, um, um, and envy acts based on um, envy acts on things that are important to us. For example, if wealth is important to me, then those my dear and near ones who are wealthier than me, I will become envious of them. If position is important to me, then those whom I know get a higher position, I'll become envious of them. If chanting is important to me, then those who are chanting more rounds or who are more absorbed in chanting, I'll become envious of them. If guru is important to me, then those who got guru, who were equal to me but they got guru, then I'll become envious of them. So envy is based on our priorities. What's important to me, um, um, I should get it. Envy, that's why envy can be spiritual or material. Mm. And then there is Maitra. Maitra is friendly to all. Friendly to all. Um, in this material world, people are friendly to those who surrender to them, who do whatever they say. So they become friendly, and people become uh, envious of those who disobey them, who don't listen to them, who speak against them. So um, some are my friends and some are my enemies. This is a material conception of life. This arises because of ego. Those who satisfies my ego, they become my friend. Those who don't satisfy my ego, they become my enemy. That's not being saintly. A saintly person is friendly to all. um, it is said that the six Goswamis of Vrindavan, they were disciples of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They were friends to those who would respect them, and they were friends to those who were harsh at them or who were very envious people. They were friends to all. Um, when a person becomes free from ego, um, then then he's equal to all. Everyone is his friend. Just like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Samaham sarva bhuteshu name asti same na priya. I am equal to all. That is called Maitra, friendly to all. So those saintly people, independent of how others treat them, if they in their heart respect them um, all in favor or against favor towards us, but the saintly person respect them all. When Krishna sees that behavior in us, Krishna become pleased. Now, one reason why these points are so important to us is because we want to go deep in our Krishna consciousness, because we have experiences. If we go deep in our chanting, hearing, reading, our sadhana, then we become satisfied. We feel fulfilled within us. Um, it is not up to us to go deep in our sadhana. It depends upon Krishna's mercy. When Krishna is merciful to us, we can go deep in our spiritual life. Our progress depends upon Krishna's mercy. Krishna mercy comes when Krishna is pleased with us. And if we exhibit these qualities, then Krishna becomes pleased with us. I have personally noticed in my life the situations which is very intolerable for me. If I tolerate that, I receive special mercy from Krishna. Anything that is very very difficult for you to do, but you know it's the right thing to do, if you do it, you receive mercy from Krishna, because you know it's like a child. A child does something right, you reward him. Likewise, Krishna rewards us, and Krishna's reward is reciprocation in our sadhana. um, um, and Krishna reward also means that I should be doing this thing more and more and more. That's how Krishna trains us. When I do something, exhibit some quality which is not what Krishna likes. For example, if I become angry at somebody, then I will have to go through difficulty. Means Krishna is displeased with me. So then we learn that Krishna doesn't like this. So in this section, that's why this chapter is so important. Every verse is so condensed in this chapter. And in this section, in this chapter, Krishna describes what exactly pleases me. If you follow or try to exhibit these qualities, your growth and your advancement will be very steep. So then there is Karuna. Karuna is merciful to all. Merciful to all. Uh, a saintly people is merciful to all. In fact, um, 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 the sages question in Shrimad Bhagavatam, sages question in Shrimad Bhagavatam, that please tell us what should, how can every living being, what is good for all living being in this material world, in this age of Kali, which is Manda Sumanda Matayo. In this age of Kali, people are misguided, unfortunate, always disturbed, full of anxiety, have very short lives. When people are in such miserable situation, what's good for them? Please tell those instructions from the scriptures which is good for everyone. So a devotee is kind and merciful to all. Um, um, mm, okay. Then nirmamo. Nirmamo means free from the sense of proprietorship. nirmamo. When um, when we think we are the proprietor, then when something is taken away from us, it causes lot of anxiety. It causes lot of anxiety. When we think we are the proprietor, then we want to control. We want to go things our way because I am the proprietor, and that creates um, um, that does not please Krishna. And then Nirankara. This is the fifth quality. Nirankara means free from false ego or identification with the body. Ahankar is ego. Nirankar is free from false ego. Now there is a short video on false ego.
So therefore, manasapi sureshwaraihi. Madhusudana means madhu klivam cha madhiveke krite krite shubhe bhaktanam karmanam chaiva sudanam madhusudan. So Madhusudan means one who specifically destroys our false ego. So false ego is sometimes compared to madhu. Madhu means honey. Honey has two qualities. One quality of honey is it is very sweet. And the second quality of honey, which may not be so well known, is that if you have sufficient quantity of honey, it can be intoxicating. It will be intoxicating. So similarly, false ego is compared to honey. Why? Because all the false conceptions which we have about ourselves, which makes us feel that we are so great, I am so great. And when people come and reinforce that false conception by telling us that you're so great, and when we hear from others how great we are, number one, it sounds very sweet, right? Ah, you are so great, you are so wonderful. We may deny, but it sounds sweet. And then if so many people keep saying the same thing, then you start getting intoxicated. Like if so many are saying means democracy means majority. So looks like everyone has a very good idea about my glories. So it can get intoxicating. So therefore, Krishna tries to save us and protect us from this intoxication. First through his instructions, which he gives. And the second is through his own pastimes. And those pastimes make any sane, intelligent person step back and look at those pastimes and think, okay, who am I? Yeah, here is the person who's really great. But here is the person who has a genuine birth and genuine pastimes. So it looks like there is someone really great here. And I should not be thinking about that myself. So therefore, Manasapi Sureshwara means even the greatest demigods like Brahma, Indra and all were quite bewildered and humbled by Krishna's descent.
So false ego makes us false ego can become very intoxicating. If somebody comes and says, like Gaurang Prabhu says an example, you are very great, then if everybody keeps saying that you are very great, then we may start thinking that actually maybe I am great. And that is the intoxicating effect of false ego. There is one story in Shrimad Bhagavatam of Pondrak. Pondrak was a king, and all the ministers, they told Pondarak that actually you are real Krishna. Everybody told him, actually you are real Krishna. See, that's why you are the king. All the people you fought with, you defeated them. Um, everybody respects you. You have all the good qualities. So when all the ministers were telling him like that, Pondarak actually started believing that, yeah, maybe I am great, maybe I am Krishna. And then when he was fighting with Krishna, he told Krishna that, you are not Krishna, I am the real Krishna. And Krishna released Sudarshan Chakra, and Pondarak died. So um, like so like that, when somebody glorifies, um, we may start to believe and think there is some truth in that, and that is actually false ego. So that's why um, it is described that glorification um, sometimes is very disturbing to the consciousness, because we naturally want to be humble, but if somebody glorifies, then it simply acts as a disturbance to our consciousness. It doesn't help us to grow. That's why you see these saintly persons, these pure devotees, spiritual master, they don't glorify much. And it is also described that if at all you want to glorify, glorification has to be genuine. It should come from your heart. If it comes from your heart, it will actually humble the other person. If you say, Prabhu, I'm grateful to you for doing this seva, then we may think, this is my greatest fortune that I could serve that devotee. We'll not become proud because it's coming from their heart. But if it's a flattery, flattery means we have ulterior motives. Then we do flattery. If it is a flattery, it will simply disturb our consciousness. So devotee should not do flattery.
So the,
Now, another sixth quality that pleases Krishna, sama dukkha sukha, equal in happiness and distress. And this is a verse from Shrimad Bhagavatam. Krishna is telling to Uddhav. Krishna is telling, sometimes for no apparent reason, one's body is attacked by cruel people or violent animals. At other times and in other places, one will suddenly be offered great respect or worship. One who becomes neither angry when attacked nor satisfied when worshipped is actually intelligent. So Krishna is telling who is intelligent. An intelligent person is when one is glorified, he is unaffected, or when one is ill treated, he is unaffected. And we see many stories in the scriptures as are an example of this. One great example is Sukadev Goswami. Sukadev Goswami was the son of Vedvyas. He is the author of Shrimad Bhagavatam. Sukadev Goswami would was in a liberated state. He would not even wear clothes when he would walk, and many villagers would mock him, um, and think he is a madman. And Sukadev Goswami was unaffected. And when he saw all the sages, including Ved Vyas, Narad Muni, and Maharaj Parikshit, when they saw Sukadev Goswami, they gave him high seat and they all bowed down to him. And Sukadev Goswami was unaffected. So sometimes he was ill treated, sometimes he was given lot of respect. He is liberated soul. We become disturbed when there is ego in the heart. That's when we become disturbed. Another example is Avanti Brahmana. Avanti Brahmana was a Brahmana from a village named Avanti. Mm, He was a, a landlord, um, um, and he was very cruel person. Actually, Avanti Brahmana. Um, Somebody texted me. Voice is breaking. Okay, I will turn off my video. Uh, okay, let us try now. So there was this devotee named Avanti Brahmana. He would give loans to people, and he was a very miserly person. He would not even um, buy any, he would not spend at all, and people would not like him. So, by the will of Providence, this Avanti Brahmana started losing all his wealth, and he became a beggar. And um, um, as as Krishna took everything away from him, um, he started becoming he was getting humbled, and he started taking interest in spiritual life, and he became a great devotee of the Lord. And after he became great devotee of the Lord, he left the home and he would walk by in villages like a mendicant, and he would beg. Um, but because people from the previous life of Avanti Brahmana, uh, people had enmity towards Avanti Brahmana, and they made the life of Avanti Brahmana as miserable as hell. It is described when Avanti Brahmana would walk, people will throw stones at him, and people will criticize him with harsh words. And if he gets something to eat by any chance, uh, small boys will come and urinate on his plate. So he was not even able to eat. He his life people made his life miserable, but Avanti Brahmana was neutral to them because he became a devotee of the Lord. And this is one verse that Krishna says, Matra sparshashtu kauntaya sitoshna shukha dukkha agama paino nityas tamstitikshava bharata. This is in second chapter. Um, Krishna tells Arjuna, your relatives, they are not, you cannot kill them because they are spirit souls. No weapon made of fire, earth, or anything can touch them. They are eternal. um, Na hanyate hanya mane sharire. Hanya mane is destroyed. Hanya mane sharire, when the body is destroyed, na hanyate. The spirit soul is never destroyed. Um, so don't hesitate and fight. But then the question may come that um, but still there is a loving connection, there is a loving connection. So when they die, there will be pain, there will be pain. And then Krishna says, if you understand that they are spirit souls, they cannot die, still there will be pain because of losing their association. And what do we do with that pain? Krishna says, tolerate. So, from verse number 11 to verse number 30, Krishna speaks the science of soul, and this one verse, the number 14th verse, he introduces. He says, if any happiness, distress comes, even after you having a spiritual consciousness, you should tolerate them. So, a devotee is same in happiness and distress, then that quality pleases Krishna. Okay, then another quality is forgiving and tolerant. If we are forgiving um, to those um, who try to criticize us or who harm us, if we are forgiving to them, then we become dear to Krishna. We become pleasing to Krishna. There is a prayer by Lord Brahma in Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto. Brahmaji prays, Tathenukampam susumikshamano bhunjano evatma kritam vipakam hridvag vapurbi vitadam namaste jivetayu mukti pade sadaya bhav. So Brahma prays, um, if any difficulty comes in one's life, and if he sees that difficulty is his own karma coming back to him, his own karma coming back to him, um, and in that difficulty he offer humble obeisances to the Supreme Lord, that person becomes liberated in this life. So one must be convinced that if somebody is giving me trouble, then that is because I gave trouble to somebody in possible in this life only. And if you are sincere, Krishna will help you to see, because you treated that person like that, because you are like that, this is coming back to you. And one who can have that vision, they can easily forgive, because they know, the other person is not at fault. It's my own karma coming back to me. And when Krishna sees that we are forgiving and tolerant, um, then it pleases Krishna. And my spiritual master gives an example on forgiveness. If you don't forgive, um, if we don't forgive, then the person who suffers the most is we ourselves. We suffer the most. And he gives an example. It's like holding a hot iron rod with the intention to hit and harm the other person. But because we are holding it, the first thing that happens is our hands get burned. So when we have vengeance, negative feelings towards somebody, we will not be able to chant properly, and we'll not be able to do any spiritual practice. Will be disturbed within us, and the mind will take us over, and we'll keep meditating on what to do, what to say, and we'll keep justifying how I am right and how I am right and they were wrong. And those mental torture will simply create a disturbance in our own consciousness. So we are the one who actually suffers. And also my spiritual master says, if we are forgiving, then when we will make mistakes, we will be forgiven also. But if we don't forgive, then there will be time when we make mistakes, and others will hold vengeance towards us, and that will make our life miserable. And that's again our karma coming back, that I was not willing to let go, I was not willing to forgive. Then santushta satatam yogi, satisfied always in devotional service. So a devotee should be satisfied, serving Krishna. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prayed, Na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kamaye mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhaktir avaitu kitvai. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prayed, Na dhanam, I don't want wealth. Na janam, I don't want followers or name and fame and prestige and distinction. Na sundarim, I do not want opposite sex. I don't want these things. What do I want? Mama Janmani Janmanishware Bhavatad Bhakti Ahitukitwai. I want birth after birth to engage in your devotional service. So, so if we exhibit that consciousness, then we are satisfied in devotional service. Um, okay, and then Yatatma. Yatatma is self-controlled, and there is something on that. This is this is a story from something that happens 500 years back on self-control. Um, Let me explain the story first, and then I will speak more on self-control. So, um, you all have heard about Lord Chaitanya, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born and brought up in uh, um, Navadvip, and at the age of 24, Mahaprabhu took sannyas, and he was residing in Jagannath Puri. And Lord Chaitanya told one of his devotee from Navadip, his name was Shivananda Sen. Shivananda Sen was a businessman, and Mahaprabhu told Shivananda Sen, um, whatever earnings you get from your business, you use that to bring all the devotees from Bengal to Puri. So Shivananda Sen would do his business for 8 months, and 4 months he would go and stay with Lord Chaitanya in Jagannath Puri. And he would use his wealth, like there were hundreds of devotees who would go every year during the Chaturmas, the 4 month of rainy season, to associate with Lord Chaitanya. So somebody has to arrange for their food, somebody has to arrange for their stay, somebody has to pay the tolls. When they would cross the villages and cities, they had to pay the toll taxes 500 years back. So somebody has to incur all these expenses. So Shivananda Sen would incur expenses for all 100 of devotees, and his service was Vaishnav Seva, so that all devotees can go and meet Lord Chaitanya. So Shivananda Sen was taking a group of devotees, and um, 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 one year Nityananda Prabhu, who is actually Balramji, was also going with the devotees to meet Lord Chaitanya. And very nice, a very this is a very instructive story. One night, Shivananda Sen could not arrange accommodation for Nityananda Prabhu, like the place to stay. Nityananda Prabhu became very angry that why you didn't arrange accommodation for me, and Nityananda Prabhu kicked Shivananda Sen. Um, and Nityananda Prabhu cursed Shivananda Sen that may all your 5 children die. Now, this seems uh, very difficult situation. Very difficult situation. He kicked him and he said, "Let all your 5 children die." And as soon as Shivananda Sen's wife heard it, his wife started crying because this is a curse from Nityananda Prabhu. Now we have to understand this story um, from the right perspective. Nityananda Prabhu is actually Balaram, and Nityananda Prabhu, um, um, he was an avadut. In fact, he would sleep under different trees. He never have a place of residence. Uh, he would just travel and do kirtans whole night with his devotees. So Nityananda Prabhu is a traveling saint. But how can he become angry for not having a stay or for the night when he never have any stay? None of the nights he have stay. So this is because Nityananda Prabhu wanted to glorify Shivananda Singh actually. um, Whenever the Lord put devotees into difficulty, um, it actually glorifies the devotees more. So we have to hear the story from the right perspective. So Shivananda Sen wife cried, and Shivananda Sen, see the reaction of Shivananda Sen. Shivananda Sen told Nityananda Prabhu, "My Lord, how fortunate uh, yogis and transcendentalists are doing meditation for so many um, thousands of years, still they cannot get the dust of your lotus feet, and today you are so kind that you have bestowed that mercy upon me." So that was the consciousness of Shivananda Sen. In other words, Shivananda Sen could was self-controlled. Shivananda Sen didn't become angry when the situation um, could have made him angry. He tolerated that urge, and his consciousness was so great that he was seeing good even in that situation. Krishna consciousness is about consciousness. In every situation, what is our thought process? That defines how much advancement spiritually we are making in our life. Naturally, none of the sons died. Nothing happened. Uh, but just the consciousness of Shivananda Sen was glorified. Another thing is also Shivananda Sen was so pleased to receive the dust from the feet of Nityananda Prabhu, and he thought, today Nitai has accepted me as his servant. Uh, Today I feel blessed that mm, Lord Lord thought of me as a servant. So I'm blessed like that. So sometimes somebody may speak something or act in a way that may agitate us. If we can control ourselves and don't become angry in that situation, then we are the winner. That is success. That instance pleases Krishna. If we can control our emotions, that pleases Krishna. That also includes all other type of self-control, whether it is um, controlling ourselves from not eating foodstuffs which are not conducive, controlling ourselves when lust attacks and not giving into demands of it, or pride or envy, they all come under this self-control. So when we act on self-control, then Krishna becomes pleased with us. Then there is Drid Nishchay. Drid Nishchay is determined. And Mai Arpito Mano Buddhi is mind and intelligence fixed on me. Determination is very important for those who want to make progress in their spiritual life. Determination. And very good example we see here is Maharaj Dhruva. Maharaj Dhruv now um, Maharaj Maharaj Dhruva um, was angry because his father didn't allow him to sit on his lap, and Maharaj Dhruva wanted a kingdom greater than his great grandfather. And when he consulted with his mother said, "Well, whatever you desire, you go to Vrindavan and you pray to Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu may give it to you." Um, and then he left. Now, here is the point. Um, he left, he met Narad Muni, he started chanting the mantra Om Nam Bhagavate Vasudevaya in Vrindavan. Now, here is the point. Um, we may start, we may become enthusiastic in our spiritual life uh, um, because of some circumstance, but to be able to continue requires determination. That it is very easy to start something when the emotions are high, um, because that is mode of passion. When we become passionate, we want to do something and we start something. But the greatness of Maharaj Dhruva, now definitely his pain and his anger toward his father and the situation melted down after 2 3 days. But his determination to worship Lord Vishnu continued. Um, so today we may become very, someday we may feel very inspired and we can start chanting 8 rounds, 10 rounds, 16 rounds or more, um, and we may continue, but to be able to do it day after day requires determination. And when we show our determination to progress, to make advancement, um, not 1 or 2 days, month after month, year after year, then Krishna becomes very pleased with us. Um, Lord Vishnu did not appear to Dhruv Maharaj day 1 or day 2. 6 months, strong devotional service, and then Lord Vishnu appeared to, because he was pleased. So when we start our devotional service, it may take some time before Lord actually reciprocates with us. How much time? Depending upon your sincerity. What weakens our determination? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, those who are too attached to sense gratification, resolute determination for devotional service does not take place. So when we are too attached to sense gratification, that weakens our determination. In fact, if we are too attached to sense gratification, then even while chanting, we cannot absorb ourselves in Krishna. Our chanting will be very distracted. And the cause of distractions in chanting is our attachments. And attachments weakens our determination. Yet at the same time, if you just somehow or other keep pushing yourself to do more and more devotional service, your determination will increase naturally. um, Radhesham Prabhu says that when we come to Krishna consciousness, chanting one round is also very difficult for us. But then after some time, we may be chanting 16 rounds. So uh, just by chanting one round, and chanting 16 rounds is not so difficult for us anymore. So we have got that much determination because of the beginning determination to chant one round. So do what you can, do something small that will naturally grow, but don't give a break. Just keep doing that. Just keep doing that. um, um, the test will come, and the biggest test is time. Test will come in a form of time. Can we maintain our enthusiasm over a period of time? And if you can pass that test of time, then you become then you advance further. You advance further. So determination is very pleasing to Krishna. And then yasman nodvijate loko lokan nodvijate chaya. No one is agitated by him, and he is not agitated by anyone. So this is another quality that pleases Krishna very much, is when our actions and behavior don't agitate others. Don't agitate others. The way we speak and talk, the way we behave, um, um, the way we act, our uh, the way we think, our body language, when everything is done in a way that we are not agitating to others, then we receive mercy of Krishna. But when we act in a way mm, that disturbs others, that causes distress to others, then Krishna becomes displeased with us. um, and then we lose mercy of Krishna. So there is a nice example of the six Goswamis of Vrindavan. In a song, it is described: Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro Premamritambo Nidhi Dhira Dhira Jana Priya Priya Karo निर्मत्सरो पूजितो श्रीचैतन्यकृपाभरो भुवि भुवो भारावहन्तारको वन्दे रूपसनाथना रघुयुगो श्रीजीवा गोपालको. They are just like the ocean of love of Godhead, and they are popular both with the gentle and with the ruffians, because they were not envious of anyone. So it says Dhira Adhira Janapriya. So these six Goswamis, they were dear, Priya, uh, Jana Priya. They were dear to both who are Dhiras and who are Adhiras. In other words, they acted with kind people, and they acted with harsh people in such a way that they pleased both of them. Nirmat Sarao Pujito, and they were not envious of anyone. They were not envious to those who were kind to him, and they were not envious of those who were harsh to him. And they would treat everybody in such a way that it is not agitating to others. And that's why they were very dear to everybody, good and bad people. Um, so whatever they do, they were all pleasing to everyone, and they are fully blessed by Lord Chaitanya. Thus they are engaged in missionary activities meant to deliver all the conditioned souls in the material universe. So those people who are very sincere in their sadhana, but they are not very well behaved, they cannot serve Krishna and they cannot serve the society because they are not well behaved. But those people who are very good in their sadhana and who are well behaved, those who have both the qualities together, they can actually become an instrument in serving Krishna, because it is very important to serve Lord Chaitanya. Is our behavior should not be agitating to others. Okay, this is the last slide we will cover today. um, um, then Harsa Marsha Bhayot Vegar, or equipoised in joy and distress, fear and anxiety. So we discuss happiness and distress, likewise joy and distress. When we go through difficult times, when we go through fear, when we go through anxiety, if we can stay neutral, in a way undisturbed, then we become dear to Krishna. One very good example, I mean, our scriptures are full of such examples who were attacked with um, um, physical torture, mental torture, verbal torture, and they remain equipoised. Full of examples. Very good example is Prahlad Maharaj, who was being tortured by his father, but he remained respectful to his father in that situation. Another example is Maharaj Ambarish, who was being attacked by a fiery demon created by Durvasa Muni, but he surrendered his body to Krishna, saying that, "My Lord, whatever you like, I am yours." Um, there is a beautiful song by um, um, Bhakti Vinod Thakur. It says, "मा मानस देहो गेहो जो किछु मोर আর পিলু তুয়াপদে নন্দ কিশোর." Manasa deho geho. Manasa, my mind. Deho, my body. Geho, my family. Jo kichu more. Whatever is mine, whatever is mine, body, mind, or family, jo kichu more, arpilu tuva pade. Today I surrender to you. Arpilu, surrender. I offer it to you. Arpilu tuva pade, to your lotus feet. Nanda Kishore, O son of Nanda Maharaj, O Krishna, whatever is mine, I offer it to you. Um, and then the next is Mukto Ya Sacha Me Priya. Of course, this is not a quality, but Krishna is describing. Um, After every verse, Krishna says, "Such a devotee is very dear to me." So Krishna is urging us to act on these qualities. We should actually read them from Bhagavad Gita, and we should read them regularly, because when you read it regularly, every day, trust me, we will fail in exhibiting these qualities. Every day it will happen, just because of our conditioning and our all the anarthas within us. But when we read, it reminds us, and then we Bhagavad Gita acts as a mirror, so we can see ourselves more deeply, and then it will impel us to act in a right direction. So we should read these qualities very regularly. And then anapeksha. Apeksha is apeksha means um, um, अनअपेक्षा मीन्स यू आर न्यूट्रल. अपेक्षा करना मतलब किसी का साइड लेना, यू टेक समबडी साइड. अनअपेक्षा मीन्स यू डोंट टेक एनी वन साइड. You are um, you are neutral in all circumstances, good or bad, devoid of all expectations from his work. Yeah, then we can become neutral. when we have certain expectations, that will cause um, um, that will force us to take sides, because um, we have attachment somewhere. Then suchir means pure or clean. And then the last point of today is daksha. Daksha means expert or skillful in all situations. So this is the last point for today. A devotee of the Lord is daksha. Daksha means he's expert. He's expert in everything. Especially he's expert in how to deal with situations in life. He's expert. Very good example is Raghunath Das Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami was expert in dealing with people. In fact, when he was a boy, a young boy, um, um, his father and uncle were landlords, and they did some. I mean, long story short, um, 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 actually, his father and uncle, they acted inappropriately, and they stole some money from the government. So the minister came to know, and he wanted to uh, punish the father and uncle. But he could not find the father and uncle. So the minister, who was envious of these people, he kidnapped their son, and name of their son is this Raghunath Das Goswami. So Raghunath Das Goswami was imprisoned. He was a young boy by the minister, and there is a description in Chaitanya Charitamrita how Raghunath Das Goswami was so expert in dealing in that situation. And although this minister was very envious of his father and uncle, he settled the dispute. So that's a quality of daksha, of expertness. He told them, like he told the minister, like, you are like my father, and um, um, I so when he heard, with so much love and affection, he presented in such a way, you should trust me, I will go and I will ask my father to get the coins, and I will give it to you, and they will respect you, and I will increase your reputation, and something like that he said in a very pleasing way, and it melted that minister. So he was expert. Another situation is in this particular instance, um, when Ashwadama, he killed the five sons of Draupadi, and Draupadi was crying intensely. Arjuna told Draupadi that don't tie your hairs till you take till you don't tie your hairs and don't take bath till you stand on the head of this demon Ashwathama, and I will go now and cut off the head of Ashwathama and bring it to you to solace you. So it was a very um, um, emotionally intense situation, and Arjuna went with Krishna. They grabbed Ashwathama, and they brought him to Draupadi. Krishna told Arjuna kill him. um, Draupadi told Arjuna that he's son of a Brahmana, uh, forgive him. Um, I went through a lot of suffering because I lost my son. I don't want to see his mother going through the same suffering by killing him. Kunti told don't kill him. Yudhishthira Maharaj said don't kill him. Bhima said don't kill him. Bhima said kill him. So they were, and Arjuna was confused whom to listen, whom not to listen. Even Krishna is telling to kill him. So Krishna was so expert, and Arjuna understood the signal of Krishna, that he acted in such a way that everybody was satisfied. So, a devotee of the Lord, when he acts in an expert way, in a way that everybody is pleased, then Krishna becomes pleased with them. Everybody should be pleased. In that way, we should act. Okay, I would like to end here and see if there are any questions.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. The question is, Prabhu,
I think you shared that we should not be flattering. It becomes very difficult to understand when we are becoming flattery and when we are becoming really smart and aware of the situation and doing something that pleases everybody and pleases the Lord. So, can
Is your
you?
question between being expert and flattering?
Yes, I mean, it's very hard to distinguish when we are attempting to do something like this that pleases everybody.
Hmm. Well, Prabhu, I see where you are coming from. Usually, flattery is done for um, one's ulterior motives. Usually, um, um, mm, um, if it is needed in the service of Krishna, if you do it, Krishna will take care of it.
Hmm. Hmm.
If that is the only situation needed in the service of Krishna, um, like somebody may be very disturbed, and you tell them, Prabhu, I am very happy with everything that you are doing and the way you are serving, although there are flaws, but time, place, circumstances, you say like that to encourage them, and then at the right time you correct them. So in the service of Krishna, if it is sometimes done, that's okay. But sometimes it is also seen that some people have the habit to keep flattering for nothing. Does it make
Hmm.
sense?
Yes,
है
yes,
ना?
yes.
That's not really good. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Anyone else has any other question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have a question like from the older chapters. Like, Prabhuji, there are four varnashrams, right? So, like, and each varnashram has is can be uh, like told in under can be can come under like some modes. Like, suppose brahmanas can come under mode of goodness. Is that correct, Prabhuji?
Brahmanas are primarily under mode of goodness. Yes.
Yes. Prabhuji, Vaishyas are in the mode of passion and both ignorance also.
Yes.
Okay, in your one of your previous lectures, you said that the best example for Vaishyas can be the Gopalas, right?
Well, okay. Continue the question.
Yeah, Prabhuji. Maybe I missed some points or something. For Brahmana, there the best example can be Garg Muni, right, Prabhuji?
Yes. Yes.
And for Kshatriya, it can be Nand Maharaj.
Because he was the king also.
Yes, Prabhuji. For Vaishyas, the Gopalas are, can be correct or not?
Well, I was giving those example in a way to say that Vaishya does not mean that they are lower, nor is Shudra, nor is Kshatriya, nor is Brahmana. If they all can use their nature in serving Krishna, then it is perfect. And with that respect, I said even in Vrindavan we see all these natures, but actually they are transcendental. They are not in ignorance and passion. The reason that example is given is the um, the context is usually people discriminate based on nature.
Okay,
Did I make,
Prabhuji.
did I make sense?
Uh, yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, can you give there is any example for Shudras?
Oh, Shudras, they serve all the other classes. They, whatever they're asked to, they do. Like they assist the Brahmanas in sacrifice, they assist Kshatriyas in ruling the kingdom, they assist Vaishyas in farming and cow protection. So they serve under them.
So, Prabhuji, can we take like Kubja as the example for Shudra? Or
We
is
can,
it like not correct?
well, um, I wouldn't conclude it, but from the fact that she was serving the king with fragrant oils, it can be seen like that. But I would generally, for a general sense, avoid using Brajvasis in this category. But just to give an example and to show that um, they are all, none of them is lower. I said I gave that example, but Kubja is also glorified as a pure devotee of Krishna.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
Prabhuji.
little confused, like,
Yeah.
because yeah, we cannot like classify really any Brijvasis in the category of Shudras.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Prabhuji.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
why I was little hesitant myself also.
Yes, Prabhuji. I was confused with that only point because we really cannot categorize because Brijvasis are really all the they are the pure devotees of Krishna.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Deepika.
Yeah, Prabhuji. So I want to say something here. Um, so maybe Duryodhana's brother Dushasan can be a good example for Shudra. He was blindly following his brother, whatever his Duryodhana is telling. He's just following it without applying his knowledge.
Hmm.
So and so there was lack of knowledge also, and so like the lack of, so tamas gun was higher, and rajagun was not there. So he can be a good example of Shudra.
Okay.
I think so. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, see, Kshatriyas by principle, if you see in Kali Yoga, Srila Prabhupada said everybody is a Shudra. Kalo Shudra Sambhave. Because Kshatriyas are meant to take instructions from true Kshatriyas. They take instructions from Brahmanas and they lead the city, they lead the nation according to scriptures under guidance of pure devotees of the Lord. Nobody does that in today's world. Everybody is leading for sense gratification. Likewise, um, 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 Vaishyas or Shudras, they all, in a true sense, in a Vedic culture, they all act as per injunction. Like Vaishya serves under Kshatriya, the ruler, and Kshatriya maintains them. So there is a harmonious relationship. They have a particular nature, but they use everything in service of the Lord. But today we don't see such existence in a way. So it's bewildering. So that's why scripture says Kalo Shudra Sambhave. Kali Yoga, everybody is like a Shudra because a Shudra is his main aim is sense gratification. And that's what we see of every person, whether he is ruling or Vaishya, is they're all running for the same purpose instead of serving Krishna. Is that all right?
Prabhuji, can I like that arises like another like doubt. So where can we put Kansa in Kshatriya or in like in other any other?
Well,
Because he was a Kshatriya, right? Because he was the king.
yeah, he was Kshatriya at the same time because he was doing everything for his sense gratification. He's a Shudra.
So he Shudra too.
So it's
Yes,
all
Prabhuji.
mixed. In Kali Yuga, it's not clear. There is no clear
Hmm.
distinction. That's why scripture says Kali Yuga, everybody is a Shudra.
Yes.
Is that all
Okay,
right?
Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay, we end here. Vanchakalpatarubhesha kripa sindhubhe evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat pranam. Hare